Hi guys, it's Michelle Mira, michellemira.com. So do you ever feel like you're walking along and doing great and then you just get hit by heavy energy and don't know why? I'm going to talk about different instances that this can happen in and what you can do about it in the next video, so stay tuned. Hi guys, so here's what happened to me today as an example. I was just driving along in the mountains. It was beautiful, the sun was shining, the wind was blowing gently, seeing the flowers and driving along the river. That was just intoxicating. It was so beautiful. And then all of a sudden I felt like I got smacked right in the face with the heaviest just dark and just yucky energy. I mean, it hit me in the gut. Like it was just really heavy, kind of perverted and just twisted kind of energy. Now, I was aware of it when it happened because it was so contrasting. It was literally like I drove into a cloud of muck, and I realized that it wasn't my energy. It was something that I came into and picked up from collective in the area. And, you know, so many times we pick up energy like this, but we're not aware of it in real time. And so it just hits us, it goes into our body and it sticks there. And then if we don't realize it in real time, then it just sits in our energy and we don't move it out directly. And today it was easy to see because it was so contrasting. It was such a beautiful experience, and then boom, what just happened? Everything weighted down and felt gross and really heavy, and like I had done something really wrong. And I was just sitting there driving, so I knew it wasn't mine. So I was able to just ground it right away, let it move straight on through, and with the intention, just give it down to the earth. And I'm gonna, I've got videos on clearing and grounding energy for empaths that I'm gonna include under this video that you can go to do the exercises. So today was pretty simple because I did realize what happened when it happened. Now, when we're distracted and we walk into energy and it hits us, it can just kind of sit in our energy field or sit in our body, and then maybe we won't realize it for a few days. And then a few days later, we feel absolutely drained, like something sucked our energy out. We don't know what's wrong, or we could even start feeling sick from this energy that wasn't originally ours. And then when it comes time to process it, it can be difficult to process because we don't know exactly what it is. We can't identify exactly what's happening. And I've got exercises for this, but when it's already been sitting in our energy and it's turned into like a physical sickness, a flu, a cold, that sort of thing, it can be a little bit harder to move at that point. And so I find water is a really good way to do it. Take a shower, take a salt bath, and then other exercises that go deeper. But so yeah, that's another example that can happen. Is it can hit you. It can be someone else's grief, it can be someone else's guilt, it can be someone else's shame. It hits us and we hold on to it because we're distracted. And the thing is that empaths are meant to transmute it, and our systems already want to transmute it. But what happens is when we absorb energy that isn't ours, that comes just straight out of the blue, gets into our body, a lot of times we'll be judging ourselves, like, what is wrong with me? I was having a good day. What is, and we start judging ourselves, and that locks it in as well. Or we just completely ignore it, and that can lock it in. So those are two different instances that can happen. Another that can happen is if you say that you are going through, even in a park or a natural setting, you can be, hiking, you can be walking through a park, there can be no other bodies around, but you walk into an energy that may be a disembodied spirit that kind of attaches itself to you, or you walk into its energy field and you pick that up unknowingly, unconsciously, and you don't realize that you've picked it up in real time. And that's another case that you don't have as much contrast to be able to realize what happened when it happened. And so you can pick it up and not really know that this has attached itself to you until sometimes months later, because it is a disembodied spirit. It can have different personalities going on. It can, it cannot feel heavy instantly. It can oftentimes not feel foreign to you. I have been in a hospital caretaking family, and I've had disembodied energies come into my system, and they feel similar to mine, and so I don't realize what's happening. And then it's, months later, several months later, that I realize something's just not feeling right with me. If you feel like you don't feel like yourself anymore, or you go through this dialogue of what's happened to me. I feel so different than I did 6 months ago, or you feel like, after that one day, I felt distinctly different, or, I just don't know what happened over the last 3 months that I feel so blah, 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 fill in the blank. These can be indicators that you've picked up, or something is attached to you, that you've picked up an entity, or you can pick up entities from someone else. If someone is passing out of their body, I've had that as well, that entities will jump from them into you, especially as an empath, because you have a very strong energy, and spirits that are within a body that is passing over will be looking for a strong system. On the other hand, if they're particularly dark energies, they'll be looking for a weak system to get into. So, different things can happen, but as empaths, we generally have a strong system, and that can be something that is attractive. So the trick with that is that you can feel like you feel similar, but over a period of time, you will start to notice that you don't feel like yourself. That is a good indicator. I just don't feel like myself anymore. And that is something that you can look at. Now, I've got different exercises for that. If you feel like it's a very, very strong and overpowering sort of energy that you just can't break free from, then you might want to get help with some sort of energy healing. But I do have videos that talk about, this if you have taken on spirits or something has attached to you. So these are different scenarios that can happen where you feel like your energy just isn't all your own. And what I recommend is that every day, morning especially, and at night especially, take a few minutes, and it only takes a few minutes. Like, first thing when you wake up is to, you can say this out loud or you can say it to yourself, but just say anything that is not mine, that is in my energy field, anything that doesn't belong in my energy field, anything that has attached to me that is not self-generated, I am sending it back to where it belongs. And I have more in-depth transmissions for this that I'll be putting up, that I'll share with you as well, that you can do to really just detach and banish things that aren't yours. So you just want to start your day by saying anything that's in my field that doesn't belong there, anything that isn't mine, anything that's not self-generated, I'm sending it back to where it belongs now. And then just take a few deep breaths and allow that to happen. And you can literally feel things just coming out of your field, out of your system. While you're doing this process, you can even imagine obsidian magnets outside your field, drawing these things out and taking them back down into the earth. Or you can picture, say, a hole that opens up, that goes deep down into the earth. And you can imagine, just by intention, that there are really strong magnets in that hole. And it's a neutral hole that just opens and allows those things to go deep into the earth and give it to the earth and let the earth recycle it. And so just do that for a few minutes until you feel that it's complete, and you'll know. And then just imagine that closing up, and if you're picturing that, just kind of imagine that the magnets, you can kind of turn down the magnet pole. And then after that, you want to say and invite all of the pieces of you, all of your soul parts that are in other dimensions, other places, that maybe you have left with other people even. You want to call all of those pieces that are you back into your energy field. And you want to imagine that they're coming back in their pure form. So you can imagine a little filter around you that filters out everything but your pure essence in these pieces, and just call them all back. And then take the time to allow that to come back. And again, you can imagine magnets inside of you, or one big magnet inside of you, pulling those back to you. And really take the time to allow this process to happen, and try not to rush it. So it can be just a few minutes, but take the time to be really present with the process while it's happening, because that's important. And you'll literally feel more whole. You'll feel these pieces coming back to you. And we are multi-dimensional beings, so we can have pieces, very awake and powerful pieces of ourselves, and big pieces of our power that are stuck or are in other dimensions, in other realities. And when we bring those back, it can bring powerful memories. It can bring some of our gifts, some of our superpowers that we have, and some of the ways that we are meant to serve can come back to us from these other dimensions, and it can really click for us, or we can get downloads from these pieces. So they can really serve us, and because they can be in different dimensions or different timelines or different realities, we want to keep doing this exercise and keep calling them back to us, the different pieces. And you might get visions, you might get memories that are recalled as, a result of this process. And so just stay aware and be, open to it. And it can be really beautiful and really empowering to get these pieces back and to let go and banish what's not ours, because we're not here to do work for other people, and we're not here to be a source of energy for other beings. We are here to source within ourselves and source our own sovereignty, not give that away. And energetically, we can do this without knowing it. So this is a very conscious exercise of sending away what may be draining us and calling back what feeds us. So I would recommend, especially for empaths, to do this every morning and every night before you go to bed. And if you have time, do it throughout the day. It's just a good exercise to have to maintain your energy. And so the other thing you want to do is the grounding and clearing exercises throughout the day as energy is coming into your system, because there's constantly this flow, this influx of energy that we're engaging with. And the more that we can manage it in real time, the more that we can be aware of what's happening as it's happening, the more that we can really come into our true power, which is to be a transmuter of energy, an alchemist of the highest level. And we are being called as empaths to alchemize this energy, not take other beings' energy into our body, and not take other people's energy into our body to alchemize for them. But when energy comes in, we are the conduit. We alchemize it naturally. And so I think it's really good to have clear boundaries about that. Yes, I am naturally a transmuter of energy, and I'm naturally an alchemist of energy, changing heavy energy into light, changing dense energy into a lighter form, and raising vibration on the earth. However, I am not here to do other people's work, which is coming from more of a codependency enabling, like, oh, you're not strong enough to move your own energy, so I will do it for you. No, I that's absolutely from an old paradigm, and many of us may have been high priestesses in former lives in Egypt. We may have alchemized and moved energy through our own body before. We may have taken other people's energy and moved it that way before, and that was what was called for at that time. But now what's called for is to do our own work and give other people their energy back for them to do their work. So we hold a solid grounding cord within us, and we clean up what's in our shadows. We clean up what's in our nervous systems. And if we are being called to transmute heavy energy from the earth and from nature, then that happens naturally. If we're being called to transmute energy that is feeling stuck in an area, then that happens naturally. But we are not here to do and heal other people. They are their own healers, if that makes complete sense. As a healer, we are here to hold a space for other people to wake up and enable them to do their own healing, not taking it on for them. And now this has been a huge one for me, because for years, if I touched someone, I took on their energy, and then I did the work with their energy. If I did a healing session, I would take that energy into my body, and that's not the new paradigm. The new paradigm is to come into a place of absolute purity, love, and hold a space of higher vibration to wake other people up to their own inner healer. and to wake them up to their own inner starseed being so that they can be activated by the information coming from the cosmos. So yeah, this kind of went in a different direction at the end, but I just wanted to clarify that because that's been such a huge transition for me, to go from actually taking other people's energy into my body to heal it, as opposed to holding a space, doing my own inner work and holding a space for them to wake up to their own inner healer. And that's a big distinction. And so I hope this has been helpful. Please click on the subscribe button. I'll be coming out with more exercises and more ways to raise your vibration and really activate the dormant DNA and really activate your inner superpowers, and use your gifts, your weaknesses as gifts, and really come into that. So I will be posting more and more videos, and feel free to comment, and thanks for watching.